I know
Now,
when you work from home, it's no big deal. So
right. Now, let me ask you a question. So, since I live in Pennsylvania, I'll just be doing Pennsylvania only.
this is nationwide. So
Oh,
this is
wow,
just
that's good.
training. Now, if it's dealing with your own state exchange, you're gonna
Oh,
have it's a little different. You'll have to figure out your state exchange
yeah.
system.
Oh, wow. I'm licensed in about 8 states.
So if you want to send me, Barbara, an email, which I think my email should be on the original Zoom link, but I can send you previously recorded stuff because we talked about this,
Okay.
and how to find your state and things
Okay.
like that. So these sessions are recorded. The very
Okay.
first one wasn't, but the rest are.
Okay.
Each session has its own username and or password to get into. So if anybody wants these separately, I do post them immediately in the 2 groups: North American Insurance Services Agent Group and Marketplace Mastery. So pretty much an hour or so after these meetings, I post them there. So you can just click on that to see the recordings if you want. If you don't want, that's fine too.
Now, about North America, what are you gonna do for North America? Life insurance?
No, North American is a FMO.
Oh, okay.
So that's just one of the groups that I'm associated with, kind of connected with a lot. And that one is got a North American Insurance Services group on Facebook. So we are just past a couple hours, got a couple more people logging in. I will start. With some more people. Let's more. All right, it stopped. Started here. I am gonna go over a couple things that I have before because this is kind of the last one, but some resources. First one, I'm gonna share these links in the chat box for everybody. One of them, people are asking about the poster that I made. So last week I talked about this is the poster that I made that I'm literally going to be running around. Here's again, running around just posting them in at businesses that have the bulletins, libraries, hairdressers, anything like that. That's just going to say, hey, are you losing Badger Care? Now, my state's Badger Care, whatever your state is, figure out your state. I did find out that in our state, the under 65 people think of it as Badger Care. But this over 65, the Medicare people tend to think of it as forward health. Now, I did not know this. I talked to my Medicare department and they're like, oh yeah, they use this different word. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's why it's for me, it was Badger Care and forward health, because I don't want somebody who's 63 or 66 that was on Badger Care and got into the Medicaid system into Medicare to not know we can help them. So make sure you figure out your state. Is there a different wording, or does everybody know, Minnesota Care, or Buckeye Care, whatever it is in your state? Most do not know the word Medicaid. So don't use Medicaid on your system, or on your posters, on your advertisements, because people mix the Medicaid and Medicare, right? They get those mixed up all the time. So don't assume Medicaid is going to help. Use your state, or this, if you're advertising in a different state, find out what that state's calling their Medicaid system. So this was my poster. It's arriving any day now, and I got a client, or one of my support staff was like, I'll do it. So she's excited to run around and start putting things up. If you're in networking groups, pass out your posters. If they have a brick and mortar retail store, use it. Now, this was just the poster that we created. I am going to change it up because this Medicaid rollback is happening for a year. And so while consistency is great, if this sits too long, people will just start to ignore it. So then I'll just change up the picture. I'll change up the wording. So one of the places that you can go to is, believe it or not, CMS is offering help with toolkits and DDS. So this is, I'm going to stick in the chat so you can all find it. go to this page, and as you scroll down, there's actually marketplace branding guidelines. So I know those of you who come from the Medicare world are always going, what's the guidelines? What do I do? You know, but there's not a whole lot. Even the CMS meeting that was yesterday, both virtual and in person, it's really kind of be honest. So if you really want to know, here's the regulations, and then they have social media guidelines. They just have some, and then they have some graphics that you can use. Spanish, Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese. If you are in a Spanish speaking area, there you go. You don't have to create it from the start. You can do it yourself. Here's the English version, and it pops up. It's a PDF, and then it kind of gives you exactly special enrollment period. It gives you social media graphics, life event changes. So they actually have some that are already there. You know, again, don't reinvent the wheel. Use what's there, what's available for you. They even have the word, copy this, the wording here. You may not have to wait until the fall to get eligible insurance. So they've got some great options for you. They also have down here the health insurance marketplace DIY design toolkit, fact sheet templates, postcard if you want to make postcards, and they even have posters right there. Posters 24 by 36. Take them to your local printer, or you can have them printed, you know, more professionally. So if you have Adobe, I highly recommend please buy the Adobe Pro version, so that you can edit this, because you don't want to run around saying healthcare.gov. You want the people to call you. Now, you can be associated, you know, health insurance marketplace, have that up there. You can put title, subtitle, put body, and then edit this part so that it's about you. So if you don't have Adobe Pro, please get it. It's very affordable. It's worth it. You can get like the student one that gives you like 2 computers. We have now got 4 people that we have that can do edits on Adobe, create forms. So get that one recommendation, and then you can use this. They've got glossaries, they have all kinds of stuff. So I put that link in the chat. And for anybody new who just joined, I know there's a couple of people that just joined. Here's the link for this. It's really very useful, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And then the second thing I'm going to talk about really quickly. I'm going to unshare for a sec. So I did get some emails, some questions that came through that I'm just going to more high level stuff. We're not deep diving, but I realized that Medicare, again, is very different than the under 65. And so I see a lot of questions that come across that I go, I bet you're a Medicare agent, or maybe you did P&C and it's trying to figure out how that works. So one of the questions is the max out of pocket. So in Medicare, there's a max out of pocket, but everybody is an individual, right? In Medicare, you don't have a husband and wife. You have a individual max out of pocket. So the max out of pocket applies. But in the marketplace, it's a family max out of pocket. It's a family deductible. Most of them, when it says family max out of pocket, it's 2 times. So if the deductible is $5,000, the family deductible is 10. If the max out of pocket is, let's say, $7,000, the family deductible is $14,000. How that works, typically, there are some exceptions to the rule, but 90% of them are this way. It says the max out of pocket for an individual is $7,000. So one person in the family will not go over $7,000. They end up in the hospital, their bill's, whatever, $175,000, doesn't matter. Their bill is $7,000. They're done. For the rest of the year, that individual will be free. The rest of the family can still get another $7,000. Now, let's say that's a car accident and 4 people all around in the hospital, and they all have $125,000. The family as a whole will not pay more than $14,000. So family deductible is always 2 in the marketplace. If you switch over to the short-term world, pay attention to that, because they often have it for 3. So a family of 4, if they have a $7,000 max out of pocket per person, it can be 3 people, not just 2. And max out of pockets deductibles in short-term worlds are very different. Often it says a $5,000 deductible, then it's got a percentage, 20, 30, for $10,000 max out of pocket. In the ACA world, they are working together. The 5,000 and the 10,000 are happening at the same time. In the short-term world, the 5,000 is independent. They pay for 5,000, now they have a 20-30% for another 10,000. So the true max out of pocket is 15,000 per person. So make sure you, if you are going to start selling short-term, make sure you understand that. Make sure you read the fine print. I do know United Healthcare has a short-term one that is actually a family deductible. It'll say it's, you know, $10,000, and it's the whole family, doesn't matter how it gets there. So read the fine print on short-term. On the marketplace, though, it's typically a ×2. And then Jess had a question: do the state marketplaces have different regulations as far as advertising? Good question. Figure it out from your state. So you're gonna have to look at your state exchange, because the states that have state exchanges are going to have their own rules and regulations, and each state of those state exchanges has their own rules and regulations. So Penn State's exchange system has its own set of rules versus Colorado versus California. So those are something you can easily Google. It should be part of the training if you're doing a state exchange. If you are not part of the state exchange and you're just part of the feds, the FFM, said, this is it. And there really isn't a lot of rules and regulations. The newest rule and regulation that is going to come out, and it's not for advertising, is just please document that you have permission and keep that documentation for 10 years. So you document by email, document by paperwork, or recorded phone call that somebody asked you to do something. They updated their income. All right, we get those by emails or calls. We always send an email out to the person, and then we link our emails into our system, and we keep those forever, but you have to keep them for 10 years. So that's the only really regulations. There's just not a lot, and being honest. So it's not like Medicare. Now, if you're going to start putting insurance companies' names, well, now you have to get permission from that insurance company. I don't really ever do that. I just do my call me, and we're a broker and we represent numerous companies. Then I don't have to get permission. So that's it for advertising. I'm going to do a little plug. I haven't said anything about this in the last month, and I won't talk about it much coming up. I put out the June's agenda. So June's agenda is listed in the comment section for everybody, or it should. It's kind of a weird section, but June 1st, which is next week, explaining those deductibles, max out of pockets, and how to work with families. That's going to be a much more deep dive. June 8th, handling those income documents and request of other documents. We get a lot of, send us proof of this, send us proof of that, send us this. I'm going to go into that a little bit more. On June 15th, how to handle income input for married on paper but separated in reality. That one comes up all the time. I'm going to show you exactly what it says at the marketplace and how to handle it. Real life examples that I have dealt with over the past 10 years. June 22nd, I'm excited to have a guest speaker who's a lot more knowledgeable than me, who's going to talk about the difference between Health Sherpa and the Insura enrollment platforms. There's pros and cons for both. I know that came up recently in the Marketplace Mastery group. I only know a little bit. I haven't had time to deep dive. And as far as I can tell, just like every other system in the world, there's pros and cons, and it might be personal choice, or maybe you use one for this and you use something for that. But I will have a guest speaker who knows that a little bit better. June 29th, entering kids. This is always complicated in a divorce situation, right? Where do they live? Who's got the tax dependent? Who's counting them? Who's not counting them? Who has to cover them? How to kind of handle that. So entering kids that are in different counties, different states, different tax dependent situations and more. So I'm going to do a little bit more deep dive of that. Now, these are only 30-minute deep dives. If you really want to dig into it, this is going to be my commercial for myself. I did create a program. It's called the ACA Academy. You don't have to take it, but if you really want a deep dive, this is what I created. There are typically 10 courses. 8 of them are recordings, and they are a deep dive, anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour on ACA, understanding the marketplace, quoting made easy. And I use the quoting tool on Health Sherpa, but just showing you how easy it is to quote. There are then live classes, which really is a one-to-one. So it's you just took all these classes, you learned all this stuff, you have questions, let's talk one-on-one. And then the second section of courses is much more deep dive into those really tricky situations, HSAs, Coursera, ICRA, more requestive documentations, understanding those CSRs. That's actually my favorite thing when an agent gets, because we can save people literally thousands of dollars on their medical expenses when they need it. If you know where that fine line is between getting a CSR and not, and when to put them lower, the tax ramifications, how that works, it's going to be one of, to me, that if you buy no other class, that one is a great one. Layering protection, we talked about that last week. This one again goes into much more of a deep dive, and then again another live class. Now, these weekly meetings that we're having is welcome to anybody. You don't have to be part of my downline. You don't have to join these classes. You don't have to be part of any FFO I'm associated with. If you want to have me as your upline, I'm happy to do that. If you already have an upline you like, stay there. I'm only throwing that out there because a lot of people have asked. And so I'm going to say, yes, I can be your upline. And then I do have these courses. People who are part of my downline get a little bit quicker to me. I can't always be available for everybody, but I am happy to share that. So I'm going to put that in the chat if you're interested. I do also have a coupon for anybody who would like to. It's new agent is the coupon, and it's 50% off. I believe in this course. I used all the knowledge, all the times that I have done this, and I've been doing it a long time, and I've done thousands of applications. I am happy to share that knowledge with you, but now I'm getting so busy, I can't always do it. And this way you can become the expert. I want you to be the expert. And then Jill, if you want to send me your email, you can send it privately. If you don't want everyone to have it, I will just send you the links if you get this every week. Kayla, interesting discussion, because some of the things you've heard about Health Sherpa, right? There's pros and cons. There really is. And Health Sherpa is been around probably the longest, and they are used to charge. So I didn't use them. And then when they went free, I'm like, all right, let's give it a try. And then it's gotten some really good things, but it's also got some weird glitches. Jessica, yes, the classes are sold separately. If you scroll down here, you can buy a bundle of the classes, or you can just get them individual. So an individual class is 150, and the bundle of classes, if you take half a class, you just want the basics, it's $4.99. If you just want the advanced, you think you got the basics down, it's $4.99. And then if you want all of them, it's $7.99. Again, I just put that 50% off discount in there. So there you go. It would cut that 150 right in half if you just want one class. So feel free to go in there. Some of these classes have documents that you could use. Like I do the CSR, I have a federal poverty level chart that I show you the difference between the best CSR, the 3 layers. I have income documents that I send out to every client that you can use. So those are in there in certain ones. When open enrollment comes, we will be talking about that. So these classes that we are doing are every Thursday from now through October 26th. Sorry, I'm not doing it during open enrollment. I love you all, but that, hopefully you're all just as busy. So we will be doing that closer to open enrollment for sure, about gearing up, how to do it. I can just tell you my best practices, what I do. I host a class online and Zoom every fall, talking about how to go in them and do their own application, how to update it. Even if they're like, I don't know what plan to pick, I'm like, that's fine, just update your application. If you are in Wisconsin, heck, I'll give you my link. I go into great detail of the plan options. So pretty much as soon as those plan options are available, I am deep diving into them, and then I create classes for my Wisconsin group to just send out, hey, if this is you who look for, do here if you want this group. So you can see them. They're actually on our YouTube page if you want to kind of even get an idea. Oh, I like that. I'll do that for my state and be the local expert. You can look at what I've done and do that yourself. So if anybody has other suggestions, I've only got June and July kind of down. They're all subject to change. There might be some changes with these classes as they grow. My YouTube link, it's Next Step Insurance is the name of my company. So If you look it up, you'll see it. Next Step Insurance is my company, and I've got quite a few. I've been trying to branch out more into YouTube and videos. I do some that are for agents, and then I do some that are for clients that say, how does this tax credit work? I can instantly send them that. Questions about deductibles, max out of pockets. Hey, these $0 deductible plans, how do those work? So take a look, and I will try and pop up the actual link in a second. And then again, I'm going to show this because North American Agent Conference to me is one of the most, honestly, it was the first one I went to was the thing that made me change my business around. It helped me understand how to layer in a way that I never understood. It helped me connect with other agents across the country, the resources, and some of my very good friends are at this conference. It's July 24th in Fresco. You don't have to be part of North American. It will make you a better agent. It makes you more efficient, it makes you work smarter, not harder. And you can connect with agents across the country. So I put the link in, I've talked about it before. It's getting pretty close to being sold out. They're only doing 100. This is not a conference filled with insurance companies telling you how awesome they are. It's not a conference that's just Medicare or just life. It's about being a better agent. Now, there will be some things about Medicare. There'll be some things about under 65. We'll talk about life, things for you to just think about and expand upon. But it's agents teaching agents. It's what I've understood. There's not one single insurance carrier who's actually going to be at this conference that's speaking. They will be there. They're going to be at tables. You can talk to them. It's great. Build that relationship with your carriers, because the better relationship you have with your carriers, the better you're going to get things done for your client. You'll be able to find your answers faster. I always feel bad when I see somebody in Facebook post a thing and they can't get through to an agent broker at their carrier, and they're trying to ask out, hey, do you guys know if such and such company covers such and such? This way, you can actually meet some of those people. Now you have a direct number. You can call the agent broker person that you met in Texas. So again, that is the conference. If you want to come, there's 2 hotels that are really close by, pretty cheap. You just click on get tickets. So any questions on the conference, let me know. And Lynn, do we happen to have video of the seminar I give my clients 2 times a year? I do. It's actually on my YouTube channel. I post that. I host them live. I am a local expert. That's how I work my system. There you go. She found a tab. I do a local. I believe in local. I know my carriers inside out. I know my networks inside and out. My 2 agents who are on the call right now, they know the networks inside and out. And then when we get somebody who's like, I'm going to move to Arizona, can you help me? Okay, if you really want me to, but I don't like doing that because I like being the local. I like knowing my networks inside out and the plans. I would say, if Josh and John agree, within 1 week, you probably know our Wisconsin plans inside and out. I mean, in our area. So we don't have to dig it within 2 weeks. Yeah, it's, we know it pretty quickly. So now the rest of the year is easy. I don't have to start digging into those plans. You work your butt off that last week in October when they finally release the rates, when they release the carrier options. Unlike Medicare, and I do think, I have faith that it's going to change. Hopefully not everything about Medicare, but Medicare, for those who don't sell Medicare, they get their rates, their changes before the consumer gets it. And then they have time to look at it and they have time to think about it. And then they start telling people, we don't have that luxury, man. They let it out on October 30th, and so does the consumer. And then you got 2 days to learn it. I think 1 year it was pretty much October 30th was when it came out. And so I had 2 days to learn it before I had to tell my clients what they needed. So I spent hours looking deep dives. But once you know your local carrier, you kind of know how they work. So you don't have to do so much deep dive when they come out with the new plans, when they come out with the new carriers, options. You already know what that company's like. You already have a contact. You kind of just go, okay, what's different from last year versus deep diving into every single summary of benefit of every plan. So I'm a firm believer of local, but I know there's some great agents even on this call that are great at multiple areas. Hey, if you want to do that, absolutely. So, oh, you're trying to find the agenda, I mentioned. I did, here, see if I can, I posted it on the two groups again that I'm on. Here's July's agenda, post that again, it's just copy and pasting from my Word documents, but it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be fun. I think we're gonna learn a lot. I'm gonna have guest speakers that are at better things than me, because I don't want to be the expert. As you guys get better, I want you to have input. I want you to bring your unique and weird questions to these support groups, and other people can answer them. And then now you know the answer so that you can help. I really believe that ACA agents should be the most heart-centered agents there is. Medicare is so regulated that there's not a lot of, I mean, I would hope you're doing the right thing, but Medicare is different. It doesn't, even if you sign somebody up for the wrong Advantage plan, maybe you kind of mess some things up for that year, but you can change it pretty easy the next year. With the marketplace, we know if we put them in the wrong plan, could financially devastate them, not just on their medical expenses, but at tax time, right? And these no call, please do not ever, tell your clients, don't ever call one of those no call things. If you're not talking to your clients, you're not doing right. You're not helping them. You're probably hurting them. There's no way you can click and know what plan is right for somebody without actually talking to them, having a conversation, educating them on how this works. So if you want the no call, if that's what you really want that quick, this is probably not going to be for you, because I want to train agents who are heart-centered, want to know what's happening, and want to know how to service their clients best. So any questions? I know this was kind of the wrap up of the Medicaid stuff. Send me an email if you want the recordings, the previous ones where we dove into marketing, a little bit of layering, how to find where your Medicaid state stuff is. I'm happy to send those recordings. Again, they're all less than 30 minutes. They're pretty quick and short. And I thank you for 2 minutes at the bottom of the hour. Any other questions? I know this was kind of a hodgepodge, but any questions from anybody? They're all very quiet.
Christina.
Yes.
So the only time they can sign up is after October. They can't sign up throughout the year.
For the marketplace?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And so, yes, the Medicaid unwinding is an ongoing SEP. It's a special enrollment period from now until May of 2024. And then they're giving them, basically, if they lose coverage, they can get it. I've had a couple people ask me, is the marketplace really not looking for documentation? That is correct. If you say somebody is losing coverage, they just say welcome aboard. With the estimated 14 million people going on the marketplace, there is no way they were going to deal with paperwork. It just wasn't going to happen. And if you haven't sold the marketplace when they used to ask for SEP letters, you would understand. It can take weeks for them to verify loss of coverage to then finally give somebody permission. So it's just turned off. Nobody's looking. It just is what it is. So the Medicaid unwinding is ongoing. It ends on May of 2024, and then they still have 60 days after that. And I'm really happy to, and then yes, the under 50 federal poverty level thing is still going on. But so if somebody makes less than 150 percentile of the federal poverty level, that's an SEP. So there's lots of things. I know there's certain states that have some other ones that are opening. It really is year round. In the summer, you may not enroll people, but if you get into those marketplace or more of the blue collar factory workers, if you can get an in with them, they come to you in the summer to see if they can retire in the fall, if they can retire 1/1. So the summer a lot of times is stacking it up, getting it ready, and then when open enrollment happens, boom, you're off and running with new people. So you're not necessarily going to always have somebody walking in your door in the summertime. Oops, hit my computer. In the summertime saying, hey, I want to sign up. In the fall, that's what it is. ACA is not about sales. It's about people walking into your office going, I need this, help me sign up. So this is, to me, one of the most brilliant markets to be in. everybody needs health insurance, and especially if they're retiring, turning 26, losing a coverage, want to be self-employed. When COVID shut everything down, our business went up. Lots of people were like, all right, I'm done, I'm retiring, I'm coming over, or my employer is not going to cover insurance while the COVID shutdown is. So, thank you, everybody. We're at the bottom of the hour. If you do have, the family glitch, yeah, we're going to talk about that one for sure. So there's lots of opportunities out there. Shoot me emails of questions you have for future ideas, and we will go from there. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great, wonderful day. The recordings will be posted in the North American group on Facebook and the Marketplace Mastery.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.